taking off. The sun is something of a factor as it sinks behind the majestic Smoky Mountains. And we'll be looking into a very bright sunshine for about 30 minutes. The stadium lights already have been turned on. But we are ready to get underway, and bear in mind that if Western Carolina can beat arch rival Appalachian State here today, they will win the Southern Conference outright. But they must win a tie or a setback, and they fall out of it. Tennessee, Chattanooga, and Furman then would be much in contention. And we are set as David Abernathy gets ready to kick the ball. Gerald Hart will be due to receive wearing number 22. And the crowd on its feet and roaring, and the stadium is full on a beautiful afternoon, and here we go. It is well hit by David Abernathy, and Gerald Hart says that's the way it's going to be. We'll put this ball in play from the 20-yard line. And so for Western Carolina as they go on the offense. In the offensive line, the tackles will be Curtis Allen and Joel Potts, with Robbie Van Oy and Leonard Price at the guards, and Steve Dunn, an excellent center, is over the ball. In the backfield, the quarterback is Mike Pusey, the passing expert. He will have Jeff Norman as his fullback, Gerald Harp is the catback, Robert Brown is the tailback, Fred Meadows is the wide receiver. And this is the first play, and Pusey throws, and the pass is complete across the way to Freddie Meadows. It'll come up to the 30 to about the 35-yard line. So the very first play from scrimmage. A completed pass from Mike Pusey. So it'll be 1st and 10. And we'll check out the defensive alignment for Appalachian State in just a moment. Right now, the principal problem being the sunshine as the sun heads toward the Smoky Mountains. This is Mike Pusey, the quarterback. He will put it up for the second time in a row. And he's looking for the bomb to Gerald Hart. It is incomplete, down at the 26-yard line. Catback Gerald Hart. Oh, he is something. 6 times this year he has scored from 60 yards or more. And Mr. Hanratty, let's watch this one once again.
Okay, Bob. Mike Pusey dropped back to the bucket. They were trying to go for everything on the first or on the second play of scrimmage. Gerald Hart just out of his reach.
Checking the defense, up front, the middle guard is Chuck Gordon with Eric Eldon and Steve Rice at the tackles, and Sammy Kilman and David Garner are the defensive ends. The linebackers are Pat Murphy and John Wynn. And now on 2nd and 10, this time it is a draw play. The ball carrier is Mitchell Ray, number 25. He is over the 45 and out to the 47, just about enough for a 1st and 10. It looked like he picked up the 10 yards before he was tackled by Gary Baldwin. So here, Terry Hanratty, a play a quarterback loves.
Bob, anytime you're a passing team, that draw is so ever prevalent in there because the team, you get back to the pocket there, the linebackers start to drop back in their drop. You hand it to the halfback, and the line does a super job. Robbie Van Oy, Steve Dunn, and Lynette Price right up front.
And it is a 1st and 10. The ball right at midfield. The Cats of Western Carolina on the first series on the offense. The quarterback is Mike Pusey using a long signal count. They attack from the eye, and this is the fullback. And a penalty flag is thrown as Jeff Norman, the fullback, goes in for about 2 and maybe 3. But Terry Hanratty, we have a flag for the first time, and we'll check it out.
Bob, I believe just watching down there, the play is right in front of us, and it looked like the defensive left end was just lined up offside. So as soon as the ball was snapped, the official just dropped the flag out of his pocket.
Defensive front 5 for Appalachian State. Chuck Gordon is the middle guard. Eric Elkin and Steve Rice are the tackles. David Garner and Sammy Kilman are the defensive ends. Pat Murphy and John Wynn backing the line. On the corners, Gary Falden and Jeff Vincent. And the strong safety, Mike Pritchett, he's outstanding, number 24. And Andy Terrell, number 7, is the free safety. And the penalty is going to be stepped off against Appalachian State. Both teams have won 6 while losing 4. This will be a major penalty, a 15-yard penalty. Taking the ball down to the 30-yard line, a personal foul. And a 1st and 10 Western Carolina on the 30-yard line now of the Mountaineers. They have traveled from the opening kickoff. They threw a 20-yard completed pass on the first play from scrimmage. This is 1st and 10, Pusey. Pitching the ball back this time to Robert Brown, number 45, the tailback. He gets 8 yards before he's hit by Andy Terrell, number 7, the free safety.
Excuse me, Bob, there's several ways to go about this. And when you start out passing, you get the defense loosened up, then it opens up for the run. And that time, Bob Brown did an excellent job cutting up between his tackles and getting the first down. Or, excuse me, almost the first down, 9-yard carry.
And it will be 2nd down and 1. Mike Busey at quarterback. The wide receivers are Fred Meadows and, of course, the catback, Gerald Hart. And the ball is faked to the tailback. The pass by Mike Busey. And make the catch he did at the 10-yard line. At the 10-yard line, catback Gerald Hart. One of the finest pass catchers in college football in America. He has been amazing. Look at Gerald Hart.
Okay, Bob. It shows you just how cool Mike Busey is there. He slips. He doesn't let that deter from his pattern. He gets up real quick, knew exactly where the receiver was and hit him. Super job. He's a cool guy. We talked about that at the beginning of the game.
So using their expert passing game, 4 of 5 so far, and now the ball down on the 10.5-yard line. And this will be Mitchell Ray, number 25, on a counter, and he'll go down to the 5-yard line, where he's taken by Sammy Kilman, number 88, playing defensive right end for the defense of the Appalachian State Mountaineers.
Bob, we might want to mention earlier, I talked last night with the defensive coordinator for Appalachian State, and he said they put in about 6 new coverages today, that they realized that they could not stop Busey and their receivers and Gerald Hart with just the defense they've been playing up to date, that they had to mix things up and try to confuse the young quarterback.
Fred Meadows and Gerald Harp are the wide receivers. Harp went out for one play and comes right back in. The attack is from the eye of the quarterback, of course, is Mike Busey. This will go to the tailback, Mitchell Ray, number 25. He is hit at the line of scrimmage. Real good defensive hit made by David Garner, the defensive left end, and helped out by Jeff Vincent, the cornerback, number 27, just a sophomore, out of Silver Springs, Maryland. And now it is going to be 3rd down. And let's call it 7 to go.
Bob, a good opportunity here now to get Mike Busey on the outside. You got the wide side to the left. We might see a roll here with the option to run or pass.
The running backs are Norman and Brown in the eye. The wide receivers are out. Busey on 3rd and long, rolling and looking for the end zone. Down. Back on the 15, David Garner again. Number 54, the senior defensive end. And Steve Rice, number 93. And Terry Hanratty, that's the kind of play a coach loves to see. A big play when he needs it.
That's the old blind side from a quarterback. Mike Busey rolling out. You're going to see David Garner coming into your screen. He gets the good pressure, makes the sack. A big play because Western Carolina was on a good drive. And to stop him down here, it's a big boost for your defense.
D. Walsh has come on as the holder. Field goal try coming up by Ted Dunn. The ball spotted on the 22. It is on the way, and it is wide. It is not good. So after going from their own 20, the field goal try of 32 yards is not good. And the ball goes over to the Mountaineers of Appalachian State. Their defense does the job the first time out. Good football underway. We'll be right back in just a moment.
It even looks a little familiar to me.
Behind the center, he is the fullback. And this time it is a quick pass that is incomplete, intended for Michael Peterson. Michael Peterson, Willie Wells, the cornerback. Oh, what contact they made, Terry Hanratty.
He sure did. Willie Wells coming up that time and making the contact. And we talked with the coaches, and Willie Wells is probably their biggest hitter on defense. He comes up with a lot of big plays. He doesn't come up with a lot of interceptions, but something like that is just as good as an interception.
Now the tight end, Stan Cunningham, comes on the field. An interesting confrontation today. His twin brother, Sid Cunningham, will be at a defensive end, and there'll be times in this football game when they'll be going head and head. This is 2nd down and 10. Fumble! And a scramble and a dive, and it appears to be Appalachian State. Greg Kilday, number 11, the fullback, will hang on to the football. Right at the line of scrimmage, so it's 3rd down and 10. And back on the field will come Rick Beasley. Now Beasley for Appalachian State and Harp for Western Carolina. 2 of the finest receivers in college football. One is ranked 4th in the nation. The other is ranked 7th. They are 1 and 2 in the Southern Conference. We expect this to be a passing ball game. Let's watch right here as sophomore quarterback Steve Brown gets set. They break the bone. And Steve Brown rolls right. A penalty flag is down. Willie Wells, number 40, almost picked it up over at the far sideline on a pass intended for Rick Beasley. Now Terry Hanratty will have to check out a flag.
We sure will, Bob. A quarterback, by using his voice inflection, as did Steve Brown that time, drew the defense offside. It's an excellent thing. If you can keep them off balance, you not only have to go for the penalty, but if you can just keep that defense leaning backwards a little bit with using your voice inflection. Did a super job. This way, you got about a 3rd and 5, ideal situation for a quarterback.
And that was a 5-yard offside penalty charged against Western Carolina. So it's 3rd down and 5 now for the Apps from Boone, North Carolina. They're on their own 25-yard line. It's the early going in this very crucial Southern Conference game. Western Carolina needs a victory to win a crown. And this will be close to a 1st down with Greg Kildare, the fullback, getting to about the 29-yard line. It may be close enough to measure, and let's check it out. No, he hasn't. 1st and 10. Randy Howard, number 37, backing the line along with Charlie Hughes, made the tackle, but Appalachian State picks up the 1st and 10, and it's a 1st down on their own 30-yard line. Their attack is from the wishbone. The center is Chuck Cole, with David Turner and Russell Wilson, the guards. Robert Mullen and Dan Medlin are the offensive tackles. And the handoff will go to Dennis McCorkle, number 22, running left halfback in the wishbone. Short gain of only about a yard. Ty Smith, you'll hear his name many times this afternoon. He's a middle guard who weighs only 188 pounds. He's got an awful lot of tiger in him. He's incredible to play in that position, weigh 188 pounds. Jim Brakefield, the head coach at Appalachian State, and of course Bob Waters, the head coach at Western Carolina. And this time it will be Scott McConnell on a counter play to about the 35-yard line. He has gained 791 yards this year. He is the leading rusher in this afternoon's football game, and one of the best, obviously, in the country. He has scored 10 times rushing. So we pick up the coaches, Bob Waters and Jim Brakefield. Bob Waters at Western Carolina, now in his 10th year, and his teams have won 62 games. Jim Brakefield is in his 8th year at Appalachian State. This will be 3rd down and 5 from their own 35-yard line. Quarterback is Steve Brown. They put McCorkle in motion. Now he sets as a wide receiver in the slot. Steve Brown to McConnell. Scott McConnell, the right halfback, not enough for a 1st down. And so this time the Cats defense is strong enough, and the ball will be turned over. On the field to do the punting will come David Abernathy, and deep to receive will be Gerald Harp and Cookie Gary. Harp wearing number 22. And it's going to be Fred Meadows wearing number 20. So two are deep to receive. David Abernathy standing back to punt at his own 21-yard line. He hits it from his own 26. Not high, but fairly long, and a good bounce. And now they will let it roll. It might be downed, and did he get it just before it went into the end zone? And he did. It'll be downed on about the 2, maybe the 3-yard line. And what a big play on the punt by David Abernathy, Terry.
Bob, one thing punt return people always have to realize is that if the ball is catchable, you run up and catch for the fair catch. They could have had excellent field position there somewhere around the 20 to 22-yard line. But to let a ball roll, especially on this artificial turf, it's going to carry a long ways, and you're going to end up in terrible field position where they are now.
So, as we mentioned earlier, we have the twin brothers going against each other here this afternoon. Stan is the tight end, and Sid is the defensive end, and when they're in together, we'll be talking about it a little bit more. Virtually nothing. Jeff Norman, the fullback, steps through the line and is clouded by number 47, Pat Murphy, the inside linebacker for Appalachian State. And here are the twins, Stan and Sid Cunningham. In high school, by the way, Stan was a quarterback, and Stan is wearing number 80. And, of course, the other brother, the other twin who was born some 6 minutes later, was the tailback. Now, as they get into college football, Stan Cunningham is the tight end for Appalachian State, and Sid the defensive end for Western Carolina. From the end zone, the pass is completed at the 50-yard line. Completed to Fred Meadows, the wide receiver, number 20. Fred Meadows makes a beautiful leaping catch, Terry, and gets them out of a pretty deep hole.
Bob, it shows you what kind of confidence the coach Bob Waters has in Mike Pusey. Backed up there, it's a tough thing to do to throw the ball. Normally, a lot of teams would just run the ball out. You let them throw the ball in a good completion. It's a quick way to get out of the hole.
So a 1st and 10 now for Western Carolina on their own 21-yard line as they come from the shadows of their own goalpost. And Pusey again setting up the throw. The bomb attempt for Hart, but he overthrows him. It will be incomplete, but he threw it well over 45 yards. It came down on about the 44-yard line. Gerald Harp, the catback, the intended receiver. Now, he has scored 11 times this year on the receiving end of Mike Pusey's passes. And the fantastic thing, 6 times this year, he has hooked up with Pusey for a touchdown. And those 6 have been 60 yards or even longer.
Well, those are incredible stats. It takes an awful lot of timing. You almost have to live with your wide receiver to be able to drop the ball over defensive people's head and complete the pass.
Western Carolina trying to fight back from that 64-yard punt by David Abernathy a moment ago. We're watching Pusey. Mike Pusey, number 7, to the 30, still running, and hit down to the 34, but that's a first down. Mike Pusey, the junior quarterback from Banner Elk, North Carolina. Only about 17 miles from Boone and Appalachian State, and he runs it out for a 1st and 10.
Mike Pusey doing an excellent job so far in this ball game. He's throwing the ball, he's running the draws, keeping the defense off balance. That time he rolled out. The secondary thought he was going to throw the ball. He saw the daylight and kept it for the 1st down. So far today, he's doing a super job against Appalachian State.
In the 3rd quarter, Furman has just gone ahead of the Citadel, 14-13. That is a big one. Furman 14, Citadel 13. We're in the 3rd quarter. This is a 1st down play, and the ball carrier, Mitchell Ray, number 25. Penalty flags are thrown as Steve Rice and Chuck Gordon, working in the middle of the front 5 on defense, make the play. And we'll check it out with the referee, Dan Woolridge from Salem.
One thing we mentioned about Steve Brown, the Appalachian State quarterback, who drew Western Carolina offside. We've noticed in the film that Mike Pusey has done this repeatedly every game, every week, using his voice inflection, because there's no better way to get a quick 5 yards than if you can draw the defense off.
And that's exactly what he did, Terry. And so it's a 1st and 5, and Western Carolina with the ball in their own 39. Virginia Tech defeated VMI 28-2 this afternoon. Notre Dame, number 10 of the nation, Terry Hanratty's old ball club, leading Georgia Tech 38-15 in the 4th quarter. You'll get a chance to watch the Irish on ABC next week, Terry. This is 1st down and 5 from the 39. Mike Pusey. Fake again. He still got it. He cocks the arm, and he is throwing long downfield for Meadows. It is from 9-yard line. No, couldn't quite hold on. Fred Meadows, the senior split end, who's caught 23 this year. He tried to run under it, and he almost pulled it off.
I'll tell you what, Mike Pusey did an excellent job of faking. He had me looking at the reverse man down here. Then he pulled the ball away and tried to go for the bomb. It just goes to show you they want to get on top real quick. They're a big play team. They've done it in the past, and they want to do it today.
Boy, the bomb is the name of the game for Western Carolina with this aerial game, isn't it?
It sure is, and they do a great job of it.
Michigan defeated Purdue 24-6, setting up Michigan and Ohio State next weekend. It seems that's the big one every year in the Big Ten, and you'll see it on ABC. You'll also see the Irish and Southern Cal. This will be 2nd down and 5 now, Western Carolina. Mitchell Ray hit behind the line of scrimmage by Steve Hobbs, a junior linebacker, 209-pounder wearing number 45. Big play by Steve Hobbs.
Steve Hobbs, he doesn't start, but he plays an awful lot of the game, and it just goes to show you why he is in there.
Ricky Blake, number 28, comes in at a tailback. And you will find that Bob Waters, the coach at Western Carolina, will use 3 tailbacks, and they're all talented. Robert Brown, Ricky Blake, and Mitchell Ray. And right now it is Ricky Blake. The wide receiver this time is going to be Jeff Dean, number 24. He spells the catback Gerald Hart. And on 3rd down, Pusey looks for a receiver. Under the heat, he throws. Ricky Blake, number 28, on the receiving end, over the 45 to the 47, 1st down. 1st down, Pat Murphy, backing the line for the Apps, makes the tackle. But Western Carolina, they've had the ball almost the entire 1st quarter, keeps it alive, and they have another 1st down.
And Mike Pusey again showing how he throws the ball extremely well under pressure. That time, 2 defensive people went there on him.
Key block by Gerald Harp, number 22. He's the catback. He can do more than just catch a football. Now this is 1st and 10, 5 minutes to go in the 1st quarter, and good defensive play by Steve Rice as he puts the hit on the fullback, Jeff Norman, number 44. Gain of about a yard, call it 2nd down, 9 to go. Fred Meadows comes back in as a wide receiver. Dwayne Norman will come out.
I've been talking with the defensive people for Appalachian State last night. They said that they were going to use an awful lot of different coverages, but they're going to deviate from what their linebackers normally do. They're going to blitz a lot of people, try to get pressure from all sides on Mike Pusey.
Time time here being taken by Mike Pusey, the junior quarterback from Banner Elk. And he will go to the sidelines now to talk with head coach Bob Waters. And on a magnificent day in Cullowhee, we have a very important game going, and with 4:10 to play in the first quarter, still no score.
3 top college clashes this week. Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern, number 1, Penn State battles Pittsburgh. Then Saturday, number 7, Michigan tackles Ohio State. And 5th-ranked USC takes on number 10, Notre Dame. The action begins Friday on ABC.
At Serene Stadium in Greenville, a 4-yard touchdown run by Mark Stowers. Furman leading Citadel 14-13. Time left to play, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And right here in Cullowhee, no score. Western Carolina 2nd and 9 from their own 48-yard line. Harp goes in motion. This is Mike Pusey throwing short to Norman, the fullback, number 44, over midfield, scrambling for about another 3, and he'll get close to the 45. We'll call it the 46-yard line of Appalachian State. And again, we call Pat Murphy on the tackle, Mr. Hanratty.
Pat Murphy, he's going to be everywhere today, but another thing you got to look at Western Carolina. They've done everything. You know, they're a passing team mainly, but they'll run the ball. They've run the draws, they've thrown the ball long, they've thrown the ball short, and now they come up with the screen and make a nice little gain about 6 yards. Ideal situation for quarterback, 3rd down and about 4 yards.
Jeff Dean will be a wideout, as will Gerald Harp. And this is 3rd down and 4. Mitchell Ray, number 25, gets nothing. Hit behind the line by Steve Hobbs, number 45, a junior linebacker, and he really made a super play on defense for Appalachian State. And so it is 4th down, and the ball will be turned over by Western Carolina. And Eddie McGill will come in to do the punting. Michael Peterson will set up as a single receiver. And here's the punt by Eddie McGill. And now, gets called for. Look out, the ball slithers loose. Was it touched? Was it touched? A penalty flag was thrown, and apparently it was not. There is a penalty flag at the 14-yard line, right at the point where the fair catch has been called for. Then Michael Peterson had elected to let it go, and we'll check it out with the referee, Dan Woolridge.
One thing about when you're returning kickoffs or punts or whatever, you have to have communication back there. If you're going to handle the ball, yell as loud as you can. Tell the other guy to get out of the way. You're going to handle the situation.
Let's see if we can pick up and see exactly what happened here.
Looks like they're going to call interference on the punt. There we go.
And it is going to be called against Appalachian State, or against Western Carolina. You are absolutely right, Terry. And so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers on their own 29-yard line. 1st and 10 at the 29.
Excuse me, Bob. You have to give the man the right to catch the ball. You can't be down in his face, or they'll call the penalty as they did there.
So now we'll watch Steve Brown of Appalachian State, who throttles the wishbone attack and does it so very well. 2 wide receivers are in the game, with both Beasley and Peterson working as wideouts, which means they might even throw from here. And Brown is looking, and Brown is got him on for Beasley. 21, incomplete. Rick Beasley, the talented sophomore, split in, doing some acrobatics on the sideline, and all the way right along with him was Willie Carpenter. Watch the acrobatics again.
Okay, Steve Brown here, what he wants to do, he wants to get number 40, Willie Wise, committed. He threw the little short pump at him. But Willie Wise, as we mentioned before, he's the most consistent guy in the secondary. He didn't bite for that, and he went deep with the receiver.
So right now, Steve Brown is 0 for 3. He'd like to be 1 for 4. Let's see if he puts it up right here on 2nd down and 10. No score late in the first quarter. Only 2:45 to play in the quarter. Scott McConnell, number 33, with 791 yards rushing coming into the game. And this time, the Cats on defense are just exactly that. John Strong made the tackle for Western Carolina. And now it is 3rd and long. 3rd down and 7 yards to go. So Rick Beasley and Michael Peterson, 21 and 1, will work as the wide receivers on 3rd and 7. It will be the wishbone attack, and of course Steve Brown is the quarterback. He's hit 56% of his passes, been intercepted only 4 times all year long. Western Carolina, 4-1 in the Southern Conference, and they run it trying to get that first down. They use Greg Kilday, the fullback, plowing in, but he won't get a first down, and now the ball is going to be turned over. Fred Meadows and Gerald Hart will be the deep receivers.
Okay, Bob, if you're a defensive tackle, this is what you got to do to stop that wishbone. You got to clog up the middle, and Ty Smith comes in there, number 61, the guy we talked about at the top of the show, and stuffed it for no gainer.
David Abernathy from his own 22. First time he punted this game today, he hit it 64 yards. And he hits this one beautifully. Oh, what hang time. Harp, number 22.
Oh, no.
That's what hit right behind him. Nobody's touched it. But, boy, it gets tricky right in there. Downed on the 10-yard line. Terry, that's the second time here in the first quarter that Abernathy has put Western Carolina in a deep hole. And we have only a minute 21 to play in the first quarter. We'll be right back. There's no score. Bob Murphy and Terry Hanratty, and we're in Cullowhee, and this one is for the Southern Conference crown. If Western Carolina can win, they will win the conference crown outright, but they must win. A tie or a setback, and their hopes will be gone. They're starting here from their own 10-yard line, first down and 10. They've dominated possession time, but David Abernathy's kicking has kept them in a hole. And running with the football, Robert Brown, the tailback, number 45. He'll get only about a yard and maybe 2 yards. So call it a gain of a yard. Make it second down and 9 yards to go.
As we noticed, Bob, last time they had the ball deep in here, Coach Bob Waters is not afraid to let Mike Pusey throw the ball. It's a wide-open offense. I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
And on this big Saturday afternoon of football, as you know, Florida State beat Navy 38-6. And here is a big one for the Atlantic Coast Conference crown. Clemson 28, Maryland 24. Brown, number 45, over the 15 and out to the 17-yard line. Pushed over the boundary at that point by Steve Rice with the help of Pat Murphy. So not enough for a first down. It'll be third down coming up. So Clemson beat Maryland 28-24 to win the Atlantic Coast Conference crown. What a football game. North Carolina 38 and Virginia 20. North Carolina State 24 and Duke 10. South Carolina 37, Wake Forest 14. Now it is third down and 3, and this is to Pusey. And he throws for Hart, number 22. What a hit. Right at the 20-yard line. May have been a first down, I'm not sure, but what a hit by Gary Falden, number 32, the right cornerback. Falden really put on the hit, and we'll wait and see where they spot the ball, Terry.
I think he caught the ball, Bob, and I think we're very close to a first down here, but excellent patterns by Western Carolina because they ran Freddie Meadows off, then tried to put Gerald Hart right out into the flat there. A little short one, just enough to pick up the first down.
Gerald Hart really shows you something, Terry. He's 5'8", he weighs 151 pounds. He catches the ball, he takes a hit like that, and he hangs on.
It's incredible, really is. That's great concentration. He's a great athlete.
And so from the 21-yard line, it's first and 10 for the Cats of Western Carolina University. Pusey, by the way, has already completed 6 out of 9 for 69 yards here in the first quarter, and we have come to the end of the first quarter. It has been an interesting first quarter of action. They go to the other end of the field to start the second quarter, so we'll be coming right back for the second quarter. At the end of the first quarter, no score. We're in Cullowhee, and there's no score as we start the second quarter. Western Carolina needing a win for an outright conference crown. The wide receivers for Western Carolina will be Fred Meadows and Gerald Hart, and they're outstanding. From the 21-yard line, Mike Pusey in the pocket. Now he has to scramble. Pusey trying to get away, and he will have to run to the 25 and out to the 27-yard line. Steve Hobbs and David Garner corralled him at that point. In the first quarter of the football game, Terry, Western Carolina had the ball 10 minutes and 14 seconds. Appalachian State 4:46. But the key defensively, I believe, for Appalachian State in that first quarter, the booming kicking of David Abernathy.
Abernathy kept him in the hole. He did an excellent job there. He's been, we're talking to the coaches, he's been able to hit the ball extremely well. Then they also said he comes up with a shank or two during the game. So we'll just have to watch throughout the game here.
Fred Meadows and Gerald Hart, the wide receivers for Western Carolina. And this is second down and 4 from their own 26. Brown, number 45, into the secondary. First down and more. Out of the 35 into the 39-yard line. At the 39, Jeff Vincent and Andy Terrell are there to make the tackle. Well, that was a good one by Robert Brown, the tailback, a junior from Lexington, North Carolina. And it's a first and 10. Total yards in the first quarter. 107 Western Carolina and 21 for Appalachian State. Fred Meadows will be the wide receiver. Jeff Dean is in the slot. And the catback, of course, is Gerald Hart. And the pitch comes to Brown, number 45. Steve Rice, number 93, gets him a stride behind the line of scrimmage. Good defensive play, so it'll come up just about even. Now the sun has gone behind the beautiful Smoky Mountains. The stadium lights are on, and they are beginning to take hold. Gerald Harp checking back in at a catback position. He has scored 11 times catching passes and twice rushing, 13 touchdowns, 78 points. He's only 5'8" and 151 pounds. From the 40-yard line, Pusey stands up, throws, it's blocked at the line of scrimmage, and it was Sammy Kilman, number 88, the defensive right end, who got that arm up there and knocked it down, and he's getting his share of pats on the back there, Terry.
That's right. Anytime a quarterback takes a short drop like Mike Pusey did that time, and he's going to throw the quick out, the best thing the lineman can do is put their hands up in the air, because he's not taking enough time where they can actually sack the guy, but if you can block him down, as did Sammy Kilman that time, then you're in great shape.
Now the catback, Gerald Harp, is wide to the top of your screen, and Fred Meadows wide to the bottom. And this will be 3rd down and 9. Watch for Pusey to throw. Good protection for Pusey, and it is incomplete for Hassard, the right end, number 85. Well covered by Steve Hobbs, and now Western Carolina will have to turn the ball over to Appalachian State. We are early in the second quarter, and there is no score. And Michael Peterson, number 1, is deep to receive for the Apps, and the punter will be Eddie McGill, wearing number 3, standing at his own 25. From the 30, the boot by McGill, good hang time. Fair catch call by Peterson. Fumbles the ball. It is grabbed by number 53, Steve Dunn. Steve Dunn, you can't run for a score, but you can recover the ball. And the ball belongs right there at the 30-yard line to Western Carolina. And the man on the spot was Steve Dunn, number 53. In college football, you can't take it and run with it, but you can certainly cover it, and your team takes over. And that's what happens on the fair catch.
I'll tell you what, that time Steve Dunn, you can tell him he can't return the ball, but he's going to try it anyway. Anytime a lineman can get their hands on the ball, they're going to try to run with the ball.
So 1st and 10, Western Carolina. They get a break. They have the ball in the 30 of the Mountaineers, and Pusey is back to pass. He's in trouble. He'll be dropped at the 35-yard line. Eric Elkin, defensive tackle, a sophomore out of Matthews, North Carolina, number 94, led the defensive charge.
Appalachian State came into the game knowing that they're not normally that they put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. That was the main concern of their defensive people. At that time, Eric Elkin did an excellent job and trapped Mike Pusey in the backfield.
So a loss of 4, 2nd and 14. No score early in the second quarter here in Cullowhee, North Carolina. The wide receiver is Fred Meadows, and the catback, Gerald Harp, is in the slot on 2nd and 14. Mike Pusey pitching the ball back to Brown, number 45. Fine defensive performance by Steve Hobbs, number 45, and he is playing a very strong football game.
Okay, Bob, let's take a look at it. Number 45 there, Steve Hobbs. In order to get pressure on the quarterback, you can do it with your linemen or do it with your linebackers. And they said that every down they were going to send 1 or 2 of their linebackers. So that time, Steve Hobbs caught him in the run and they made the tackle. Super job.
On 3rd and 12, we'll be looking for Mike Pusey to look for one of his wide-out receivers, Fred Meadows or Jeff Dean. Carter is in the game and sits on the wing at the moment. And Pusey goes back through. It is going to be intercepted by Andy Terrell, number 7, back to the 35. Terrell upended at the 39-yard line. Andy Terrell, the free safety, made the interception, and he was the only man really near the football. And so the ball has gone over to Appalachian State on the interception, and they'll have a 1st down on their own 38-yard line.
Okay, there's the interception. We missed it. We had number 8, Rock Carter. I thought it was interference. The defensive man knocked him down. But here we come up with a big interception. Andy Terrell.
Now it is Appalachian State, 1st and 10 on their own 38-yard line. The quarterback is Steve Brown, the smooth operating sophomore quarterback. 2 tight ends in the game with both Cunningham and Keaton in the ball game, and the play will go to the 40-yard line. Greg Kilday, the fullback, a little beyond the 40. Let's spot the ball in the 42. Gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6 yards to go.
That's an awful big boost for Appalachian State's defense and offense, because Western Carolina's been down there 2 times and have come away with no points.
Now Appalachian State with this best field position. Their attack is from the wishbone. The fullback in the wishbone is Kildare, number 11. They fake to the tailback. Wilson caught behind the line of scrimmage. Caught behind the line by about a yard by Sid Cunningham. Sid Cunningham, number 91. He's the defensive end. And the twin brothers are in there right now. Stan Cunningham is the offensive tight end for Appalachian State, wearing number 80. And Sid Cunningham, number 91, is playing the defensive end for Western Carolina.
I'll tell you, if they're anything like my twins that I have, they're going to want to fight on the field and off the field.
There's Stan Cunningham, number 80, and number 91, the twin brother Sid Cunningham. So let's watch them in their head-on confrontation now. Two wide receivers this time as the two tight ends come out. And it'll be 3rd down and 7. Steve Wilson fakes the draw play. Now passes behind the line. It is completed to Scott McConnell, number 33. And there is a penalty flag thrown at the 42-yard line. It was not enough for a 1st and 10, and we do have the penalty flag thrown. We'll watch the referee, Dan Woolridge, the man in the white hat. What a beautiful day this has been in Cullowhee, North Carolina. We're here at E.J. Whitmire Stadium, where Western Carolina is hoping to beat its neighborhood rival Appalachian State, because if they can do so, they win the Southern Conference crown outright. So the penalty will be declined. They did not make the 1st down. It'll be 4th down. And now Appalachian State will be turning the ball over. David Abernathy does the punting. Gerald Harp and Fred Meadows are the deep men to receive. Harp is 22. Meadows is number 20. Both are scatbacks. Abernathy has boomed 2 tremendous punts already. We're watching as Abernathy hits it from his own 36. Not quite as big as the first 2. Fair catch by Fred Meadows, number 20, on the 20-yard line. So Western Carolina still trying to get on the scoreboard. They'll take over on their own 20-yard line. We'll be back in just a moment, and we still have no score. The sun has disappeared behind the beautiful Smoky Mountains here in picturesque Cullowhee. It has changed the colors of the mountain, but it still is a magnificent setting.
Oh, it's a beautiful area. We've really enjoyed being here the last couple days.
And now it is 1st and 10. Western Carolina starting from their own 20-yard line early in the 2nd quarter and no score. They have to win it. Furman has beaten the Citadel. And the pass that is complete to Tim Hassard. Hassard is the tight end, number 85. It'll gain 13 yards. It is a 1st and 10 at the Western Carolina 33-yard line.
Mike Pusey loves to throw to his wide receivers, and Appalachian State knows that. And now he goes to the tight end and finds them wide open downfield. That's a great way to move the ball around. Get it to everybody. Let everybody get in the ball game.
1st down on the 33 now, Western Carolina. As we mentioned, Furman beats Citadel, and so this must be a win. And at the 35-yard line, Robert Brown is taken down by Steve Hobbs, wearing the same number, 45. Robert Brown is the tailback. He's a junior from Lexington, North Carolina. Robert Brown, Ricky Blake, and Mitchell Ray all run at tailback for Coach Bob Waters at Western Carolina. And all 3 will see a lot of action. The wide receivers are Fred Meadows and Gerald Hart. They attack from the eye. Mitchell Ray is in as the tailback, the deep back now in the eye. Mike Pusey, the quarterback, drifting back. Good protection, throws long for Hart. Incomplete, almost intercepted by number 7, Andy Terrell. He is the man who did intercept just a few moments ago.
Let's take a look at Gerald Harp here, number 22. And it's a good sign of a good receiver, knowing that the ball is overthrown and he has no chance of catching it. Break up the interception. Don't let the defensive man get it. And there we are right there. Super job by Gerald Harp, number 22.
In the passing show so far today, it's Mike Pusey, 7 of 14 for 82 yards, 1 interception. This is 3rd and 8. And again, Harp is the wide receiver to the right. Meadows, number 20, to the left. That's Harp, number 22. And he's the game breaker, the man who gets the long ones. Pusey, right over the middle for Ricky Blake, number 28. Not a 1st down. Tackled on the 40-yard line by Steve Hobbs, number 45. And again, the defense of the Apps has done the job. And so Eddie McGill will be summoned onto the field to handle the punting for Western Carolina. And dropping back deep on the receiving end will be Rick Beasley. First two times out, it was Michael Peterson. He had a little trouble catching the ball, and they go to Rick Beasley at number 21. As you know, Beasley is the talented wide receiver. Oh, this is not a good one at all. Slithered off the side of the foot. Will go out of bounds or be downed right there on the 39-yard line. Down on the 39-yard line, and so the Apps will have it first and 10 on their own 39-yard line. 8:17 to go in the first half. Still no score, and we'll be right back. For the Apps, it is first and 10 at their own 39-yard line. The ball carrier is Dennis McCorkle, the tailback, number 22, and a stride of about 2 across the 40, maybe to the 40.5-yard line. Call it a gain of 2, make a second down at 8 yards to go. And the middle guard, Ty Smith, number 61, the captain, was the man who made the defensive hit for Western Carolina. Jim Brakefield is the coach of Appalachian State, now in his 8th year. His team turned it around. They were 2-9 a year ago. And again, it is the tailback McCorkle, or actually the left halfback in the wishbone. And again, the gain is short. He'll get about 2. Let's make it third down and 5 yards to go. Again, Ty Smith in the middle as they try to test him in the middle of that defensive front 5.
Bob, every team they've played has tried to test Ty Smith. They realize he's 5'9", 188 pounds. They can't believe the films they see. But when they get to him on the field here, they realize he's as tough as he looks.
It looks like a passing down on 3rd and 5. Beasley and Peterson both in as wide receivers, and the tight end will come out. We keep our eye now on Steve Brown, the quarterback. He sets up the throw, and it is completed to McCorkle, number 22. McCorkle coming out of the backfield to gather it in, and the best gain of the day for Appalachian State. They go down to the 32-yard line where Lee McCall, the cornerback, made the tackle. That was a Terry Hanratty type call. That was a good one.
Oh, that was a great call because they brought Cunningham, the tight end, into the post. Then they ran the back on the linebacker and just hit him. They've done it before in the passing games that we've seen.
So it's first and 10, Appalachian State now on the Western Carolina 32-yard line. The attack is from the wishbone. Quarterback is Brown. Brown throws that quickie to Beasley, number 21. Beasley hit down by Willie Wells, number 40. So they gain 14 on the completed pass. They come right back to get 10 more. They've picked up 24 on the last 2 plays. And it's a first down and 10 for the Appalachian State Mountaineers. They have their first good drive going. But more important, Terry Hanratty, they have their aerial arm going now. Steve Brown is warming up.
He is doing well. Coming out here, last 2 completions, a super job. Builds the confidence for a quarterback.
Tight end Stan Cunningham setting up as a wide receiver this time, along with Michael Peterson. The throw is for Peterson, number 1. He makes the catch. He's scrambling at the 17-yard line, and there are too many purple shirts around him. And Lee McCall led the defensive charge. Michael Peterson, 5'9" and 161. They call them the mini backs around in this part of the country, Terry. They can catch it, and they are really scat backs once they get it.
All they do, they don't have the speed, they don't have the moves. All they do is go down there, get open, and catch the ball, and that's what you got to do. You got to play catch with the quarterback.
Second down and 5. The pass good for 5, and the ball is on the 16-yard line. Rick Beasley back in as a wide receiver. Rick wears number 21, and he is a big playmaker. Steve Brown is the quarterback. Very long signal count, and I believe they'll have to throw the flag. Well, apparently it went off smoothly enough, all right, Terry. I thought sure the flag was going to go in watching the play.
Looks like a lot of people moved down there. One thing we might mention here, Bob, is when these last 2 passes that Steve Brown has completed, he's coming right down the line of scrimmage, and he has the option at that point. If the receiver, Rick Beasley, is covered on his little slant-in pattern, he can go ahead and run his option there. So they do have a run-pass option on that type of play.
Jim Brakefield, the coach of Appalachian State. His team with a 3rd and 3 right here on the 15-yard line. Kildare, number 11, is the fullback in what they call a broken bone. Again, the long signal count. Wilson straightens up, throws for Peterson. One incomplete. Mike Peterson, number 1, had it in his hands, but never could really get a firm grip on it, and will probably be looking at a field goal try coming up by Mark French in just a moment. The line of scrimmage is the 15-yard line at the far hash mark, and watch Mike Peterson again, Terry.
Okay, that's the same type of play we've been running here. Steve Brown has the option. He saw that Mike Peterson was open. Perfect strike, hit him right where that number 1 is, but he just dropped the ball. That doesn't happen often.
32-yard field goal try. Michael is the holder. Mark French will try the field goal to kick us up. It is on the way, and we're waiting. It is good. It is good by Mark French. His second field goal of the year. He's only tried 3, and he hits 2. That will be from 32 yards out. From 32 yards out, French gets the field goal in the second quarter of the football game. And so the Mountaineers from Boone, North Carolina get on the scoreboard first. 4:49 to play in the second quarter, and they lead 3-0, and we'll be right back. What a happy day for this lovely lady. She is Mrs. Cunningham and her twin boys, one playing, of course, for Appalachian State and the other for Western Carolina. And there she is, Mrs. Cunningham. And the kickoff by David Abernathy. Harp is going to try and bring it back. Here he comes to the 15, hit and down on the 17-yard line. Gerald Harp, the scatback and the catback, coming back to the 17-yard line, and Western Carolina, now trailing by a score of 3-0, will start their 1st and 10 from their own 17-yard line.
Bob, I'm wondering if Mrs. Cunningham, who does she root for in a situation like there? She is right there in the yellow coat, digging through a pocketbook.
She has 2 marvelous-looking boys. Stan, of course, is number 80 in the white, and Sid is number 91. Stan is quite a bit bigger. He weighs 230, and Sid weighs about 220. The pass from Pusey that is complete to the catback, Gerald Harp. The gain, however, will be rather short, and the defensive hit is by Jeff Benson across the way. Boy, what a rivalry this has been over the years. This is the 43rd meeting. Western Carolina has won 6 out of the last 7. But over the years, Appalachian State has established the margin. But as we say, in recent years, the series has been dominated by Western Carolina. They won last year 44-14. And if Appalachian State wins here today, they'll turn away a dream for this year for Western Carolina. A team that can win the conference crown if they can win here today. Mike Pusey throwing, and at the 31-yard line, it is incomplete. Jeff Benson, the cornerback, reaching over the shoulder of Fred Meadows, number 20, the split end.
I'll tell you, that's great defensive play by Jeff Benson. I know the hometown crowd here wants pass interference, but he reached over the back, didn't touch Meadows, and just batted the ball down. Super job.
Robert Brown comes back in as a tailback, and Mitchell Ray, number 25, will come out. This is 3rd down and 6 for the Catamounts of Western Carolina, coached by Bob Waters. Bob now in his 10th year. He has built a beautiful football program here at Western Carolina. Fred Meadows and Gerald Harp, the wide receivers. Pusey, pressure is on. He gets free for a moment, still in trouble, and he does throw for Jeff Norman, number 44. He fumbles, loose ball. It may belong to Appalachian State. We'll wait for a moment. And a wild scramble here, and when they uncover it, they'll know at the 13-yard line.
Bob, so many times in watching those films, you've seen Mike Pusey get out of these situations and make what looks like a disaster into a real big play. That time he had the opportunity.
Well, let's watch Steve Dunn, number 53.
The tackles there. It just does a super job. He's a tough guy to bring down. He's a real headache for the defense because all of a sudden he's falling down, he throws, and it's a good throw. The ball was cut, and he coughs it up right there.
It was Steve Dunn, the offensive center, who recovered the ball for Western Carolina. On 4th down, Mike Pusey is back in the end zone, and Pusey will punt it out of there. Oh, he hit a beauty. Back to the 37-yard line. Rick Beasley makes the catch. Beasley being hit down by Steve Dunn. Dunn, who recovered the fumble a moment ago, the offensive center, went way upfield. He ran 60 yards, and he made a beautiful tackle on Rick Beasley, number 21. What a play by that young man, Steve Dunn, number 53.
And to tackle a guy like Rick Beasley in the open field like that, you know you got something going for you.
What a play by Steve Dunn, the offensive center of Western Carolina. He's a senior, and he's the captain, and that's the way to lead your ball club.
You see that versatility of a quarterback? He not only can run the offense, can punt also.
1st and 10 from the 36 for the Apps. The quarterback is Steve Brown, and the Mountaineers lead 3-0 late now in the second quarter. Beasley on the receiving end, number 21. Willie Wells, number 40, is all over him as he gathers the ball in at the 40-yard line. The completion, good for about 4. Willie Wells and Tom Gunn. Gunn is the mover back, and he is a guy who is a good hitter.
He's a good hitter, but Willie Wells, so many times we've seen that the coaches have said that he'll come up and support that run or the short pass like that. It's going to end up almost like a run.
Charles Fowler is in now as the left halfback in the wishbone. This is 2nd down and 6. The Apps have the ball on their own 41-yard line. It is the fullback faked, and the pass now is going to be, gathered in by McConnell, number 33. McConnell across the way, run out of bounds on the 27-yard line. Beautiful faking by the quarterback Steve Brown, he faked the fullback receiver.
Let's take a look at it. They faked to the right. The same play they hit for a good gainer earlier. Tried to isolate the 33, Scott McConnell, on a linebacker, which they did. A good throw by Steve Brown, and there it ended up in a big gainer.
33-yard gain. 33-yard gain. First and 10 Mountaineers on the 27-yard line of Western Carolina. Alvin Ray is in as a wide receiver now for Appalachian State. From the wishbone, Steve Brown. And this time he will give it to the fullback, Greg Kilday. Number 11, he'll get 2 as he hits over his own left guard. Defensively, Randy Howard had a hand, number 37, and middle guard Ty Smith, number 61. So suddenly the momentum is turned around. Western Carolina owned the first quarter, so to speak, without scoring. But in the second quarter, Appalachian State has taken over control of the football game. Right here, it is 2nd down and 7 on the 24. This will be number 13, Fowler, the left halfback in the wishbone, getting down to the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 4. Steve Brown now has completed 6 out of 10 for 82 yards. He started rather slowly, but his arm has certainly heated up, and he's right on the groove, in the groove now.
He does. He moves around there extremely well, and it keeps the defense off balance. And these throwbacks, anytime you're rolling one way, it's a difficult thing to cover a guy in the throwback.
3rd and 3. 1:49 left to play in the first half. From the wishbone, the pass from Brown to Beasley. What a catch at the 13-yard line. Rick Beasley, number 21. He came into this game with 55 catches, and that is a first down, Terry.
Okay, here we go. A roll. He has the option if the receiver is not open to continue on the option. But there he threw the ball. It's a nice catch by Rick Beasley. Just goes to show you how many, he has so many catches. They're not flukes.
Well, you can see why he came into this game. Number 1 in the conference, number 4 in the nation. Rick Beasley, 6-footer who weighs only 160 pounds. Now Peterson is the wide receiver to the left, and is 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers on the 13 of Western Carolina. And the Mountaineers already leading 3-0. Penalty flags are thrown. Steve Brown, the quarterback, dives into the middle, and let's see who moved first. It will be against Appalachian State.
There was definitely just a little mix-up in the starting count there because everything, I don't know whether the center was late or everybody in the offensive line was early, but they did jump off sides.
Rick Beasley coming back in, and Michael Peterson goes out. They rest each other, and they're just about the same types. Beasley, of course, number 1 in the conference, 55 catches coming in, and Mike Peterson, who's been hurt the last couple of weeks, back feeling well again. He came into the game with 26 catches. Procedure penalty goes against Appalachian State. First down and 15 yards to go. Time elapsed in the first half, 1 minute and 11 seconds. Well, we thought we'd see a very high-scoring football game. We're almost to the half, and we have a beautiful halftime show coming up. And we have only 3 points on the board. They belong to the Mountaineers. And look at this as they go to a passing formation. Beasley is the wideout receiver. Steve Brown looking for Beasley. No. He throws from 33. McConnell. McConnell may score. Scott McConnell goes in to score. Scott McConnell, the senior right halfback from Bowie, Maryland, gathers it in. It is his 11th touchdown of the year. 11th touchdown of the year. It is now 9-0 in favor of Appalachian State.
Let's take a look at it. The wide receivers here, they drew everybody to the inside. They all came down and ran to the inside. Scott McConnell just did a little drag out of the backfield, and Steve Brown hit him with the ball in a great second effort to get those last 2 yards.
Michael is the holder. Mark French will try the point after. It is up, and it is good. It is good. And so, to the surprise of the crowd in Cullowhee, with 1:05 left to play in the first half, Appalachian State now is in front of Western Carolina 10-0. We'll be right back. Right now, we'll go deep to receive as Appalachian State will have David Abernathy kicking off. They have just driven 64 yards. They scored on a well-executed pass play, and now they lead Western Carolina by a score of 10-0. And the kick is a sailor toward the far corner, Gerald Harp, from his own 3-yard line. 15 is Harp, and down on the 15-yard line, a penalty flag thrown, and we might have a clip. Steve Hobbs made the tackle on defense. So we'll watch the call on the field, Terry.
I'll tell you, Steve Hobbs has been everywhere. He's played a great game defensively on the special teams. Here comes down and makes the tackle.
We had not heard a great deal about Steve Hobbs prior to this game, and he really has been a defensive standout so far.
He has not been a starter up till the game here, but the coach has told us that he's the type of guy that you got to get into the game early because he makes things happen, and he sure has so far today.
Dan Woolridge is the referee. Time remaining in the first half, 59 seconds, half the distance.
I think it'd be interesting here to see if Western Carolina tries to put together a 2-minute drill. They have 59 seconds to go here, but they are a passing team. They've got to be awful careful because they're backed up here and they're already down 10-0.
Flipping penalty and moved them back to their own 7-yard line. So now first down from their 7, Pusey, standing near the goal line, is throwing for Dean, number 24. He made the catch at the 28-yard line. Jeff Dean, a freshman from Athens, Georgia, gathered it in, and Pat Murphy made a hard tackle at that point. But it was well executed, and it is a 1st and 10, and there is Jeff Dean. Now we have 50 seconds remaining in the first half. Pusey looks for Hart, throws for Hart, it's incomplete. He threw just beyond his fingertips up around the 43-yard line as Mike Pritchett and Pat Murphy were covering on defense. 38 seconds to play in the first half. And Appalachian State is in front by a score of 10-0. First quarter, Western Carolina had the football over 10 minutes. But in the second quarter, Appalachian State turned it around. They put together 2 drives, one resulting in a field goal and the other resulting in a scoring pass. This will be 2nd down and 10 as Mike Pusey looks them over. Nobody open at the moment, still hoping, and now he is throwing, and it's almost intercepted by Jeff Benson, number 27, the defensive cornerback. And Terry Henretti, he just laid back. He knew what he wanted to do.
You saw him that time that he knew where the ball was coming. He did a great job for what a secondary man should do. He's always got to keep his eyes on the quarterback, or watch where the quarterback's eyes are. And that time he baited Mike Pusey into throwing the ball to his area and almost picked it off.
Now it is 3rd and 10, exactly 30 seconds to play in the first half. Brown is the tailback as the attack goes from the I. Draw play going. It is to Brown, number 45. He'll come up to the 40. He fumbles the ball, and I believe it might be Appalachian State at the 35-yard line. They're not far out of field goal range. Time remaining in the first half is 20 seconds.
That was a good call by Bob Waters that time.